Every town has a dark side. Porch lights glow and plastic fangs click. But Halloween's real trick isn't the costumes, it's the permission it gives. The mask loosens the space between impulse and consequence. Now, most people play pretend, but a few don't. And those are the stories we're checking out today. Hey guys, it's Andrew, and welcome back to Every Town. Thanks for tuning in. Now tonight isn't about ghosts, goblins, or monsters. It's about what a costume lets ordinary people get away with. 4 stories, one night that keeps inviting bad choices. So, let's head around the country and check out Halloween's dark reality, the night that enables evil. Every single Halloween, while kids fall asleep with face paint cracking and parents are picking up candy wrappers, well, cops all around the country tighten up. And they know the pattern. After dark, the calls stack up. Break-ins, assaults, and sometimes even worse. Now, Halloween isn't just about movies and pumpkins. It's one of the riskiest nights of the calendar year. Studies show property crime jumps around 24%. And violent incidents can spike close to 50%. The numbers are interesting, but they don't paint the full picture. If you want to know why the night tilts this way, you have to rewind. Past candy corn and haunted houses, and past superheroes on sidewalks. All the way to before Halloween was even a word. 2,000 years back, the Celts marked Samhain across what's now Ireland, Scotland, and parts of France. October 31st wasn't just the end of summer, it was a hinge in the year, a night when the barrier between worlds thinned. Ancestors could visit, but so could things you didn't want to meet. So to ward off these frightening things, whatever they were, well, people lit huge bonfires and threw on animal hides. Basically, tried to look frightening enough that whatever was out there might mistake you for one of its own and just pass on by. On Samhain, rules loosened. Young people roamed and played tricks, and the social order of things flipped for a night, which should sound familiar. When Christianity moved in, the church tried to sand it down. All Saints' Day and the evening before became All Hallows' Eve, Halloween. And the name changed, the instinct didn't. The costume stayed, and the idea that this night is different stayed too. And with it, the belief, conscious or not, that you can push lines you wouldn't cross on any other evening. Irish immigrants carried the old customs to America in the 1800s, and by then Halloween had changed. October 31st became a night where a mask could hide who you were, and dark could hide what you did. By the early 1900s, the vibe soured. Harmless tricks slid into real damage. Smashed windows, torched buildings, injuries, and costumes gave cover, and anonymity turned pranks into crimes. And police started seeing the pattern, and this wasn't holiday mischief anymore. It was burglary, assault, and worse. And today, the numbers make it plain. Halloween ranks among the most dangerous nights of the year. Property crime climbs by roughly a quarter, and violent incidents jump by about half, especially between 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. As to why exactly, it's pretty simple. Mask anonymity you don't get on a normal Tuesday. Alcohol flows, and crowds create confusion. And baked into the culture from all those years back is the idea that rules bend on this night. So, if Halloween tilts the rules, well, this is what it looks like when someone uses that tilt on purpose. A Halloween night, 2016 in Sanford, Florida. Joseph Smith and Roland DeLoach were winding down from another ordinary day. And Joseph, who was 27, was an aspiring rapper just 2 weeks away from releasing his first album. His older brother, 41-year-old Roland, had just gotten home from work, and he was a responsible guy who never missed a shift and never complained. Both brothers lived with their mother, Barbara, and their father had died a few years back, and Barbara had suffered a heart attack not long after. So the boys moved home to help with bills and make sure she was never alone. Family came first. At 8:54 p.m. that night, somebody knocked on their door. Barbara answered, expecting some late trick-or-treaters. Instead, she found a figure standing before her in a mask. This masked individual pushed past her into the house. Joseph was in the living room when the first shot rang out. Roland heard the gunfire from his bedroom and came running to help. He made it halfway across the room before the second shot dropped him. Then, the killer turned the gun on Barbara. He forced her to her knees and made her beg for her life while her sons lay dying on the floor. For terrifying moments, she was certain she was about to join them. But the gunman just walked out and disappeared into a neighborhood full of costumed people. Joseph died at the scene, and Roland died at the hospital. Barbara survived, but she had to watch both her sons get murdered right in front of her. Police read the scene, deliberate, nothing stolen, and someone came to that door to kill the Smith brothers. But why? A lead surfaces. 30-year-old Dante James out of Chicago was staying nearby. The day after the murders, he's picked up on weapons charges. A gun at the place he's staying says it's his. The serial number is filed off. He bonds out, though, cuts the ankle monitor, and runs. When they get him back eventually, he's cleared as the trigger man in the double murder case, but detectives think he and his girlfriend know more than they're saying. For the family members, they believe Joseph was the target, trying to leave street life for music, and Roland died the way big brothers do, running toward danger when family screams. In this case, Halloween helped the killer, whoever they were, stake out the house without standing out, just another mask on the block, walk to the door like you belong, and leave into a river of disguises and never look back. And Barbara still lives on Hayes Drive. Every October 31st, the night rewinds. This particular case is still unsolved, with a reward for $15,000 still out there for any information leading to an arrest. Somewhere a killer walks free, shielded by the same holiday that let him knock, step in, and take 2 sons in under a minute.
The holidays sneak up fast, but it's not too early to get your shopping done and actually have fun with it. Uncommon Goods makes holiday shopping stress-free and joyful, with thousands of one-of-a-kind gifts you can't find anywhere else. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the US. Many are crafted by independent artists and small businesses, and because they're made in small batches, the best finds can sell out fast. I'll give you 2 wins from my family. I grabbed a really nice watercolor paintbrush holder for my mother-in-law, and she's into painting and quirky, beautiful tools, so an instant hit. And for my cousin who lives in the kitchen, I found these bread plates with built-in olive oil wells, plus a cast iron garlic roaster. And he brings fresh focaccia to family gatherings. The garlic and sea salt combo on that bread, it's ridiculous. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone. Foodies, book lovers, gardeners, thousands of ideas you won't see anywhere else. So shop early, have fun, and cross some names off your list today. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/everytown. That's uncommongoods.com/everytown for 15% off. And don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Now, this case in Sanford was planned violence, but in Depew, New York, there was a different kind of terror. No witness, no weapon, just a kid in a Halloween costume who never finishes a 2-mile walk home.
Tonight's Unsolved Crime takes us to Ransom Road in Lancaster, where in 1982, nearly 37 years ago, a young man was
On October 30th, 1982, 18-year-old James Adamski was getting ready for the night he looks forward to all year. Halloween is his thing, and he's built an Alice Cooper getup, heavy eyeliner, teased hair, the whole shock rock grin. James is a normal kid from upstate, artistic, and he liked to bowl on the weekends. And he's got plans after graduation and a family that believes in him.
18-year-old James Adamski was a senior at Depew High School.
From all accounts that we're aware of, he was a super friendly guy, well-liked in high school.
That night, he heads to the 5 and 23 bar for a Halloween party packed with costumed college kids taking advantage of an all-you-can-drink special. He spends the night bouncing between friends, soaking in the outfits and music, and a little after 3:30 a.m., so technically Halloween morning, he starts the 2-mile walk home along Transit Road. Still in costume, it's a route he knows, and he never makes it to the end. By morning, his family knows something's not right. He's not at a friend's house sleeping it off, and James isn't the type to disappear without a word. So they call police, and Depew turns out. Officers, firefighters, volunteers combing fields and ditches, while the Adamskis wait for a knock or call that doesn't come. Days stretch into weeks with nothing to hold on to. On December 26th of '82, 2 rabbit hunters cut through a patch of woods about 4 miles from where James was last seen and find a shallow grave pulled over with leaves and scrap. Inside it is James, still wearing the costume he was last seen in. The medical examiner rules homicide by blunt force, multiple blows to the head with something heavy, a bat, 2x4 maybe, perhaps a tire iron. Tough to say for sure since he had been in those woods for so long. But whatever it was swung with a rage, its intentions visible and final. Detectives work the obvious angles and then the far-fetched ones. And everyone at the party, everyone who might have been on that road, anyone who had words with anyone that night. A scuffle at the bar gets ruled out, and the people involved have nothing to do with James. He isn't mixed up in drugs or fights, and he doesn't have any known enemies. The picture that remains is painfully ordinary. A teenager walking home in the dark with a killer somewhere nearby. Watching him at the bar, trailing him when he left, or taking a chance when they pass by a costumed kid alone on that road. Now, this case is also still unsolved, and police have put modern forensics to old evidence and posted an $11,000 reward, but time has done what time does.
Unfortunately, we've only had 2 leads since 2017, and both of those leads didn't really go anywhere. His mother and father have both since passed away, and while they were living, they were never given closure.
His little brother Andy, 8 years old then, remembers one last clean detail. James leaning down before heading out and saying, "Have a good time trick-or-treating, kid," with a kiss on the forehead. For the Adamskis, Halloween didn't just lose its shine, it became a date they carry every year. A reminder that somewhere out there, the person who took James used the night he loved as cover. If James's case is a vanishing on the margin of town, Midland is the wilderness version of the same story. Same weekend, same age, Same decision to take the quick way. Only this time the trail itself becomes the question. October 30th, 1998 in Midland, Ontario. 18-year-old Jake Just is all set for Halloween weekend. Tall, easygoing, blonde hair and green eyes.
Jake Just loved music, snowboarding, and skateboarding. The 18-year-old high school student had a job, a girlfriend, and a family who adored him.
That night, the plan is simple. A party out in the woods. A place where the teens in the Sunnyside area are known to hang out when they want to cut loose. The party is small town familiar, something you might have done growing up yourself. Beer in the woods, dares that feel hilarious at 18, the kind of night you'd expect to eventually outgrow, not fear. Now, close to midnight, the revelry starts to wind down and Jake and his buddy decide to head on home. There are two ways back. Well-lit streets through town or the quicker Sunnyside Trail, dark and cutting through the trees.
So we just walked through, and I'm still going towards the light on the street because I want to walk down the street, right? Because we're falling and tripping on everything, and I wasn't having a good time at all, like walking through there. So by the time we got through, he wants to go this way to Vinden, and which is a bush the whole way. That's where that swamp is, where everyone searched.
They decide to split up. His friend takes the lights. Jake opts for the creepier shortcut. But it's all good. They'll meet on the other side. They've done it before. Now, sometime after midnight, now officially Halloween, Jake steps onto the trail. He isn't seen again. His friend waits for a bit, but at some point decides to head home alone. And he didn't think anything bad had happened. Just without cell phones, you can only wait around for so long. At first, there's no panic, because maybe he doubled back. Maybe he ran into someone. But the minutes stack, and by morning, his family knows this is all wrong.
And then I called him the next day, he wasn't home yet, so I figured he was just out, like he found something else to do. That's the way he was, like he would have seen someone, went to another party or something like that. And that was the last time I've seen him.
What follows is one of Midland's largest searches. The whole town pitches in. Tracking dogs are sent along the trails, aerial sweeps are conducted, and teams push through brush and marsh. Ponds are checked, and low areas dragged, and tips come in, interviews pile up. But still, nothing breaks. And the hardest part of it all is that there isn't a single shred of evidence pointing to anything happening to Jake at all. There's no clothes, no wallet, no remains. It's as if Halloween night sucked him up into the void. Now, theories gather because the evidence doesn't. An accident on the trail seems plausible until you consider how thoroughly the area was combed and how well Jake knew the route. Getting lost and slipping into the marshes is raised and ruled down the same way. The theory that sits heavy is the one people don't want to say out loud: violence. Rumors surface of someone chasing him from the party, a dangerous encounter on the path, or a deliberate targeting. Remember, Halloween makes that all easier. Darkness, crowds in costumes, late hours, noise that can mask a struggle. It all creates room for a predator to move without drawing a second look.
This is classified as a missing person case to date. We can't rule out foul play in any way, the shape, or form in any of the scenarios that we just described, but it is still considered a missing person case.
Today, Jake would be in his mid-40s, and if he's alive, he's living a life far from the boy who stepped onto that trail. The more likely truth is that something happened on Halloween of '98. An accident nobody found, but more than likely, a crime someone hid well. The case still gets reviewed from time to time, new tips still get checked. The Sunnyside Trail is better lit now, but for people who remember that weekend, it's a landmark with a shadow. The place a promising teenager walked into the dark and never came out. And then Halloween crosses a threshold it has no right to. Out of the woods and into a dorm room. In Long Beach, New York, the horror isn't chaos in the street or the woods. It's ritual knowledge inside a locked community. October 31st, 1986. Torah High School promised shelter from the noise outside, an Orthodox yeshiva where boys could sink into prayer and study and let the world pass by. For 15-year-old Cham Weiss, and 2 weeks shy of his 16th birthday, it was a place to deepen faith, not to test it. And his family knew what survival meant. Grandparents who outlasted the camps. A father, Anton, born in a displaced persons camp after the war. And they built a quiet life on Staten Island, observant, orderly, and safe, so their children could grow up with a certainty they never had. And Cham fit the mold. Serious student, respectful, careful with the rules that govern Orthodox life. He kept a single room on the 3rd floor and moved through the cadence of the day. Talmud, minyan, meals, more study, with the calm of someone who believes discipline is a kind of freedom. Halloween night slid past almost unnoticed inside the yeshiva. Classes, services, and that familiar routine. Later, classmates saw Cham reading in the hallway, the building thinning to silence as boys drifted back to their rooms to sleep before morning prayers. Sometime after midnight, now November 1st, Cham turned out his light and lay down in his narrow bed. The next morning, when Cham didn't appear for Shabbat prayers, a dorm supervisor went to check on him. He found Cham on the floor of his room, still in his PJs. A single, crushing blow from a sharp, heavy object had killed him, fast and without warning. The weapon was gone, and there were no signs of forced entry. His room opened to a fire escape, but nothing suggested it was used. Nothing was missing, no overturned furniture, and no defensive wounds. Everything pointed to an attack while he slept by someone who knew the building and, more unsettling, knew the community. Detective Don Daly, a 25-year veteran, kept circling the same details. The murder fell on the Sabbath, when observant Jews avoid writing and other weekday tasks, already unusual for a crime scene. But the room carried signals of ritual understanding. And Cham's body had been moved after death, first arranged in bed, then placed on the floor. In Orthodox practice, the deceased is set at the lowest, coolest point in the room.
A window was left open, indicating police say that the killer was familiar with Orthodox Jewish traditions.
A gesture consistent with opening a window or door to let the soul depart. Taken together, it didn't look like a stranger blundering through a dorm room at random. It looked like someone who understood Orthodox custom well enough to leave a scene that nodded to it. Someone from inside that world, possibly even inside the school. As detectives widened the lens, unsettling details surfaced. In the months before the murder, the yeshiva's principal twice phoned the Weiss home to request a private meeting with Cham. What was discussed was never shared with the family, and Cham avoided the topic altogether. After the crime scene was sealed, investigators permitted a memorial candle in his room in keeping with tradition. 2 days later, a second candle appeared. No one on staff or in the dorm took responsibility, and to police it suggested someone had slipped back into the room, and possibly the killer themselves. And then the investigation ran into a different kind of barrier. Detective Daly convened students, teachers, and rabbis, asking for any fragment that might help.
We would
would like to interview any student, faculty member, employee, or anyone who was involved in any way with that yeshiva during that time period.
And he was met with only silence. And part of it, he'd later say, reflected religious caution. In Orthodox practice, you don't level grave accusations on suspicion alone. You need proof or corroboration. In effect, the same principles that ordered daily life also stalled cooperation. Leads pulled in multiple directions. Some speculated about a troubled student. Others looked at faculty. A few still wondered about an outsider with rare access. In 1994, the family received an anonymous Easter card addressed to Cham, and around the same time, his gravestone was defaced. The Hebrew letters spelling out murder, though with an incorrect final character. Whether either act came from the killer or a taunting copycat, that was never established. In 2013, Nassau County Police formally reopened the case and posted a $25,000 reward, revisited witnesses, and applied modern forensics to preserved evidence. Their public posture has been consistent. The killer likely had intimate knowledge of the building and the community. And yet, decades on, still no arrests.
Police say they have DNA evidence, including a hair found at the murder scene, and hope to use it to catch the killer. And while tips have already begun to flow to investigators, the one to break this case remains elusive.
Four Halloweens, and four families who don't get the holiday back. In Sanford, a mask turned a porch into cover. In Depew, an Alice Cooper costume made a kid both visible and vulnerable. In Midland, a shortcut trail offered speed instead of safety. And in Long Beach, someone used ritual knowledge to move through a dorm without leaving a clean trail. Different crimes, same leverage. Halloween supplies a permission structure. Anonymity from masks, confusion from crowds, and darkness that eats detail. Alcohol that lowers brakes. The night is liminal, and rules feel looser, consequences further away. And that's all some people need. Not ghosts, people. People who see a window and step right through it. And maybe that instinct is older than the candy and the porch lights. Salwin's idea that the boundary thins and anything can walk among us. The truth is simpler and colder. On October 31st, the boundary that thins is between impulse and action. So enjoy the night, but respect it. Choose light over shortcuts, keep your group tight, open your door with purpose. And remember, the scariest thing on Halloween isn't what's in a mask. It's what the mask lets a regular person do. Stay safe out there. And that's it for today's Everytown. Thanks for tuning in. If you want more from us, check out our feature film An Angry Boy, a dark revenge thriller perfect for the Halloween season, now available to rent on all major platforms. Remember to come back here next week, same place, same time, for another episode of Everytown, filled with strange and mysterious stories, because you never know. Maybe your town will be next.